Imagine growing up with two very different voices shaping your beliefs about money. One telling you to study hard, get good grades, find a stable job, and work your way up the ladder. The other telling you that true wealth lies in understanding how money works and making it work for you. That's exactly the premise of Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And from the very first chapter, it challenges almost everything you think you know about success, financial security, and the path to a wealthy life. It's not a dry textbook on money. It's a powerful, story-driven manifesto about how mindset, not just hard work, determines your financial future. And once you start seeing money the way Kiyosaki does, you can't unsee it. At the heart of the book is the contrast between Kiyosaki's two father figures, his biological father, the poor dad, a well-educated man who believed in traditional career paths, and the rich dad, his best friend's father, a high school dropout who understood how money truly works. Poor Dad taught him that a secure job, a steady paycheck, and a good education were the foundations of success. Rich Dad, on the other hand, taught him that financial education, smart investing, and building assets, not incomes, were the real keys to wealth. Kiyosaki doesn't vilify one and glorify the other. Instead, he presents their ideas as contrasting philosophies that shape how most of us approach our financial lives. One of the core ideas that Kiyosaki introduces is the difference between assets and liabilities. On the surface, it sounds simple. Assets put money in your pocket, liabilities take it out. But what's eye-opening is how most people confuse the two. For instance, buying a house is often seen as a wise financial move. But according to Kiyosaki, unless it's generating income, like through renting, it's a liability because it costs you money every month. This shift in perspective is a big deal because it forces you to ask, are you buying things that make you look rich or things that build wealth? For Kiyosaki, the answer lies in acquiring assets like businesses, real estate, or investments that generate passive income, money that comes in even when you're not actively working. Kiyosaki also dives into the limitations of the traditional school system. He argues that schools teach you how to be a good employee, not how to be financially free. Most people are trained to fear failure, follow rules, and depend on others for financial guidance. But the problem is, this mindset creates a population that works hard for money but never learns how to make money work for them. Through his own experiences, Kiyosaki shows how financial literacy, understanding cash flow, balance sheets, income statements, and investments, is far more powerful than memorizing facts or even earning a high salary. This doesn't mean school is bad. It means school can't be the only education you rely on if you want financial independence. One of the most powerful lessons in the book is the idea of working to learn, not just to earn. Kiyosaki talks about taking jobs for the skills they teach, rather than the paycheck they offer. When he was young, he worked for free under Rich Dad to learn about running a business. This sounds crazy until you realize the value of learning sales, marketing, leadership, and investing early on. These are skills that compound over time and open doors to opportunities a paycheck never could. Kiyosaki emphasizes that the real-world education you get from taking risks, trying new things, and even failing is far more valuable than staying in your comfort zone for the sake of security. Fear and comfort are two emotional traps Kiyosaki explores deeply. He says most people are driven by fear, the fear of being broke, the fear of losing money, the fear of what others will think. This fear keeps them stuck in the rat race, trading time for money, month after month, hoping for promotions or raises that barely outpace inflation. On the flip side, the desire for comfort, wanting a nice car, a big house, or the latest gadgets, often pushes people into debt, creating financial pressure that limits freedom. Kiyosaki suggests that the key is emotional intelligence, learning to manage fear, delay gratification, and make decisions based on long-term thinking rather than short-term relief. Another eye-opening point Kiyosaki makes is about taxes and the wealthy. Most people don't understand how the tax system works, and because of that, they pay more than they need to. Kiyosaki explains how corporations, investments, and strategic financial planning allow the rich to legally reduce their tax burden. This isn't about cheating the system. It's about understanding the rules of the game. While the average employee earns, gets taxed, and then spends what's left, the wealthy often earn through corporations, spend on business expenses, and then get taxed on what remains. This simple but profound difference shows why financial education is crucial. It gives you tools to make the system work for you instead of always working within it. Kiyosaki also emphasizes taking action. It's not enough to just read books or watch financial advice videos. You have to start doing. Whether it's buying your first stock, investing in real estate, starting a side business, or simply tracking your expenses and income for the first time, action is what separates people who dream about wealth from those who build it. He shares how fear held him back at times, but taking small, calculated risks helped him build confidence. He also reminds readers that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the journey. The people who succeed financially are usually the ones who failed the most because they kept learning, adapting, and moving forward. Throughout the book, storytelling is one of Kiyosaki's greatest strengths. He doesn't just throw concepts at you. He brings them to life through personal anecdotes, conversations with his two dads, and real-life examples that make complex ideas easy to understand. Whether he's describing how he bought his first property, started his businesses, or navigated financial setbacks, he uses stories to make everything feel relatable and applicable. You start to see how these lessons play out in the real world, not just in theory. By the end of Rich Dad Poor Dad, you come away with more than just financial tips. You get a new lens for looking at life. Kiyosaki teaches that financial freedom isn't about being lucky, inheriting money, or finding a magic investment. It's about changing your mindset, building your financial intelligence, and taking consistent, intentional action. He encourages you to question conventional wisdom, challenge your beliefs, and stop letting fear and ignorance run your financial life. And most importantly, he shows you that wealth isn't just about having money, it's about having the freedom to live life on your terms. So why is this book worth your time? Because it doesn't just inform, it transforms. It gives you the language, the tools, and the motivation to start thinking like an investor, not just a worker. It empowers you to stop blaming your job, your education, or the economy, and start taking responsibility for your future. Whether you're in your 20s trying to figure out where to start, or later in life and feeling stuck, Rich Dad Poor Dad offers a powerful blueprint for breaking out of the cycle and creating a life of true financial independence. It's not always easy, but once you've read this book, it's impossible to go back to seeing money and your potential the same way.